Messi's story with the national team is not, by most measures, a tale of dominance from day one. In fact, for the better part of 2 decades, it was one of the most challenging rivalries in football. Messi versus his own destiny. But few careers have been so full of setbacks, redemption, and one of the most delayed happy endings in sports history. Before any of that, there was a boy who was smaller than most. A growth condition threatened to end things before they began, and it was Barcelona, not Argentina, who supported the treatment that let him keep playing. He grew up in Spain, not on the streets of Rosario, and by the time he was pulling on the albiceleste shirt as a teenager, some already wondered if he would ever feel fully connected to the national team. His full international debut, at 17, lasted less than a minute before he was sent off. Argentina moved on without much fuss, the way nations do with promising young players who haven't proven themselves yet. Then came the 2006 World Cup, where he barely played, and the 2007 Copa America final, lost to Brazil, where he barely featured. The player dazzling for Barcelona every weekend simply didn't show up in the same way for his country, and the questions started early, brilliant at club level, quiet on the international stage. Meanwhile, the club version of Messi was busy rewriting what a footballer could be. 4 Ballon d'Or awards by 2012, remarkable numbers week after week. But international tournaments kept arriving like a challenge he couldn't quite solve. 2010 ended in a quarter-final defeat to Germany, the same German side that would trouble Argentina for years. The 2011 Copa America, hosted on home soil, ended in the quarterfinals too, eliminated by Uruguay in Argentina, with Messi missing his spot kick in the shootout. The home crowd's reaction that night was harsh. Then came 2014, in Brazil, the tournament many hoped would be the crowning moment. Argentina made their way to the final, Messi carrying a team that, on paper, had no business getting that far. In extra time against Germany, Mario Götze scored, and it was over. Messi collected the tournament's Best Player award and looked, by every account, like a man being handed a prize for a race he had just lost. 2 more finals followed in the next 2 years, Copa America 2015 and Copa America 2016. Both lost to Chile, both on penalties. After the second one, standing in a locker room in Santa Clara, Messi told reporters he was stepping away from the national team. Simple as that. Walking away at 29 from the shirt that had given him success everywhere else but there. He came back, of course, he always came back, but the difficult results didn't stop right away. A tense qualification for 2018, followed by an early exit to France that included a teenage Kylian Mbappe racing past Argentina's defense. By this point, the idea that he was the greatest player never to win with his country had become something close to accepted wisdom, repeated so often it barely needed explaining anymore. Something shifted, quietly, in 2021, not with fireworks, but with a Copa America played in empty, pandemic-era stadiums against Brazil at the Maracanã. Argentina won 1-0, no extra-time drama, no penalty shootout, just a first trophy, finally, at 34. Messi was seen crying on the pitch, in a moment that looked less like pure joy and more like relief after 15 long years. Which brings us to Qatar, and the same French side remarkably from 2018. Argentina moved comfortably through the group stage, lost to Saudi Arabia in the opening match in what may be the tournament's biggest upset, and somehow turned that setback into motivation. Messi, at 35, playing in what he had already said would be his final World Cup,
scored in the final against Argentina's long-standing tournament rival. Mbappe, the same player who had troubled them in Russia, scored a hat-trick to level the match at 3-3. Penalties, once again. This time, Argentina made every one. Messi lifted the trophy wearing a traditional robe handed to him by Qatari officials. A small, unexpected image that briefly drew attention away from the football itself, discussed widely online for days afterward. It didn't matter. The boy once considered too small to make it, the player once criticized on his own home turf for missing a penalty, had become the smallest man on the podium holding the biggest trophy in the sport. International football, across 2 decades and 1 player, brought its share of early exits and missed penalties, and retirement announcements that didn't last. But it turns out, even the longest, most difficult wait for a happy ending is still, eventually, a happy ending.